Hello, everybody. It's your guy, DJ Big Bak. We are back, and we have a wonderful show today. We have Miss BJ Dawkins, who will be with us today, sharing some great information about organization that has been helped our community. So now tuned in to EverythingDMV Radio, where culture meets community. And I am your host, DJ Big Bak. Today we're going to shine a light on a movement that's transforming lives across the DMV. My guest, BJ Dawkins, CEO and founder of Helping Hands, Empowering and Lifting People, HHELP, a nonprofit focused on addiction, education, empowerment, and community healing. Here's Miss BJ Dawkins.
Good afternoon.
Hello, hi.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Great, thank you. I'm doing great, thank you. I want to thank you so much for being here with us today, for sharing your organization, not only with us, the community. So, Ms. BJ, before HHELP became what it is today, what sparked the mission for you personally?
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And spreading the word is something that we do. It started actually a long time ago, but we didn't have a name for it. So I was always a community person. I was always giving advice. I was always helping somebody that needed help. But I worked at Kaiser Permanente for a while. And when I worked there, again, I'm helping everybody on the floor, every department. And one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to open an organization. But it did not, I didn't have a name at the time. So that's really how it started, just being in the community, helping. I am from a family that's always given, my grandmother, my great-grandmother. So this is something in the bloodline.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So you've worked across multiple communities. What moment confirmed that this work was your calling, your blood, and it's already with you? But what is like, okay, this is for me?
So let me go back. In 2006, May 11th, 2006, my son was carjacked and shot in his head in Prince George's County in the parking lot of a condo that we own. And my daughter and I heard the shots. And at the time, I had no idea it was my son. So being a property manager in the neighborhood and a busybody, as you say, I'm on the phone calling the police and I'm running down, and the cops was like, do you know who this is? And I have no idea. So my son was 1 month shy of graduating from NYU, 2 weeks away from starting a job at Lockheed Martin, and 1 month shy of turning 22. His injury affects speech and movement. They didn't expect him to make it. The sirens didn't even go on, you know. And it was one of the police officers that said, this is your car. I just bought him the car for his graduation. So I did not recognize the car. It's that army green. It was Subaru. So at night, at 11 o'clock at night, it looks black. So I'm like, no, that's a black car. He has a green car. Anyway, fast forward to that. He survived, but unable to care for himself, 24/7 care. So I started Collins Angel Consulting, because that night, that weekend, there was an angel that was assigned to Colin in the hospital that spoke to me. And I had 50 plus family members and friends that never saw this person. But I saw her, she touched me, and that's another story. But anyway, fast forward. Unfortunately, I didn't realize, I was spending so much time with my son, I didn't realize that my daughter, who was 18 months younger than him, was feeling it. We believe it caused what happened next. So fast forward, we found out that she started drinking. I had no idea how much drinking she was doing. She was a functioning, 100% functioning alcoholic, professional alcoholic. She worked at the Federal Reserve. She worked for Deloitte and Touche. She worked for National Academy of Science. This was a young lady that had everything going for her. And everything just spiraled out of control. So in 2014, it just got wild. 15 came around, got worse. 16, the same thing. Finally, I had to love her from a distance.
Yeah.
HELP started because of her. So my daughter, Lorinda Downer, is who HELP started because of her. And I wanted to go out and educate families about what I saw but didn't recognize. I'm from the Caribbean, so we're social drinkers, you know? So I looked at it and I saw her having a sip here and there, not paying it no mind. What I didn't know was she was drinking a lot of vodka, and a lot of vodka and gin that has no odor unless you're on it. So it said Lorinda sippy cup, but I thought Lorinda was drinking juice or something. Had no idea. Lost her job, lost her home, but most importantly, lost custody of her son. So I've had my grandson since he was 4 years old. This is what happens when you are an addict and you have other, illnesses, maybe mental illness and so on. And to be honest with you, some of the stuff, she did tell me about it, but because my daughter had a tendency to add and subtract from a story, so I call her a habitual liar. I never took her serious. And that's one thing I had to come to terms with, like, yeah, she did say this, she did say that. But anyway, fast forward to 2021, she died. She died from alcoholism at the age of 35. Thank you. And about a year before, my niece and I said, you know what? I need to really do something in the community. I've been doing, but it wasn't registered. So I went ahead and registered HELP, Help Enhance, Empowering and Lifting People. And that's what the hand in our logo stands for. When you see this, it's how do I help you to come up? Oftentimes we see people that need help and we look at them, we discard them, we dismiss them. But if you put yourself in that shoe and do a reverse, would you like somebody to help you? So that's how Helping My Hand got started, because of my daughter, Lorinda. And then when she died, I just made it more personal. Before, it was just, okay, I'm going to do this in the community. I'm going to do that. Now it's personal, because this is a shoe. Mikey Spice, Jamaican artist, has a song that says, walk a mile in my shoe. Not 1 mile, not 2 miles, not 3 miles, just 1 mile, not 2, 3, or 4 miles, just 1 mile. Walk a mile in my shoe and you'll know how I feel. So I refuse to wear my emotions on my sleeve. I refuse to use it as a crutch. So what I do is I put that energy into doing something positive and constructive in the community. So that's it.
Thank you. You turn your pain into purpose. That is a beautiful thing. You were already helping the community, but you really pushed it out there to make an impact and a bigger difference. So thank you for that. And our condolences to your family, trials and tribulations that you've encountered in that process. For listeners,
and that it was trial and tribulation was an understatement.
Yes. Yeah. Man, I couldn't have. Yes. For listeners who may not know, what does HHELP actually do on a day-to-day basis?
HHELP is an advocacy platform, but at the same time, it's about how do we help each other. HHELP is about how does addiction affect families and loved ones, not just the individual using it. So we have mothers, we have fathers, but most importantly, we have children that are affected by addiction, school age children that are going out there. So my job has been to reach out to these kids, reach out to the families. How can I give you the support you need? What do you need? When I give you that support, what are you going to do with it? Because oftentimes we give support to people and they don't use it, or they don't know what to do. So I'm a teacher, but most importantly, I'm a mom, a grandmother, and an advocate. So I'm going to advocate for you. What do you need? How do you need it? Let's find the resources for you to make sure what you need is there. So I shouldn't see you on a corner somewhere homeless when I just help you to keep your apartment or your house. I shouldn't check on you and find out that the lights are out when we just paid the bill. I should not find out that you have no food in the house because you use your benefits for something else, or your check for something else that you're not supposed to be doing. And there are children involved. Sometimes there's seniors involved that are dependent on you. So since you're dependent on me, let me show you or teach you how to be independent. And that's what I do.
Beautiful. Openness. That is amazing. Because I know a lot of people coming from situations like this sometimes don't think logically on the things that they should be doing or how to do it. Get stuff and they get resources, and then they abuse the resources because of that. So uh, being able to educate them, to help them use the resources for what they need, I think is so empowering and impactful. Is also often the least. So that is amazing what you're doing.
Thank you.
How does HHELP and families who've been affected by addiction or things like that they're having?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Yes, sorry. How does HHELP help families who've affected by addiction?
It depends on what the circumstances is, and that's a very great question. We have families that have different type of addiction. So most people hear of alcoholism and quote unquote illegal drugs. Nobody, a lot, not I'm gonna say nobody, a lot of people do not think of prescription drugs as being a problem. Aerosol spray, glue, paint, those fumes. Children, young people have used that, spray the aerosol, inhale it. Okay, it can damage your lungs. It's not just smoking, it's not just vaping, it's not just cocaine, it's not just heroin. It's also stuff that we keep in our house, like bleach. You have people that will taste bleach, they'll mix it in stuff and they'll drink it. You have glue. If you are doing construction and you have the glue, that you have people that are addicted to pain, will cut themselves. You have people that eat their hair. So you have people that eat toilet tissue. So, addiction is so wide. A lot of people, again, just think of what's visible, but no, addiction could be food, it could be sex, it's all of those. Addiction is very, very broad.
Yeah.
With the people that we try to help, especially our children, the children that see the addiction and their generation picks it up. So how do we prevent that is to reach out to those children or those families. And sometimes the families will shun you and tell you, I don't need no help. You will get 99% rejection when you offer help. They will tell you, oh no, I don't need it, I'm fine. And they're falling down the stairs or they have bruises all over. And the denial is no joke. I saw that with my daughter. I mean, I have pictures and videos, and she's like, I don't know where that come from. I didn't do that. Yes, you did. We got a video of you doing it. So
Wow.
it's deep.
I,
It's
I,
deep.
it is.
You have people that will turn their car on and leave the garage door crack open, and they go by the mufflers and inhale the fumes.
Wow.
So addiction is so many things. It's not just one thing, it's a lot of things. And most importantly, they're habitual liars. And it's like you're
Mm-hmm.
addicted to just lying, not even telling the truth, even when it's staring you in the face. And they will look at you point blank and says, "No, I didn't do that. You didn't see me do that." Fingerprint could show. No. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. No, I'm no, I'm thinking only alcohol, drug. I'm not thinking this wide array of addictions that people probably aren't even, recognizing. I mean, even from the prescription. But like you mentioned, all these like, wow. So there's a lot of things to be educated on, to be able to and, and be able to offer some through those different of addictions that are out here. Yeah. Oh man, I didn't. Most people will probably think drugs and alcohol, but it's far beyond that. And I think I've never heard of a company or organization that offers help to those things. So that is definitely above top notch level on the information and resources that you're given. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yes. What role do you see youth and schools prevention with addictions?
So this is why I try to start in the middle schools. Actually, we may need to go. I need to probably start going to elementary school. What we find is that there are a lot of people, a lot of young children, kindergartners, pre-K, kindergartners, third, fifth, that are exposed to various form of addiction and drugs because they see it at home. And it doesn't have to be their particular home. It could be a family friend or relatives that they go to. And it is so blown up that you have some parents that will take their kids along with them to go get a fix at another friend or relative's home. And they're smart enough not to leave the children alone, but they're taking the children to them. So now the children is seeing it. So when you have a 14-year-old or two 14-year-old that's selling fentanyl pills on the street to another 14-year-old, and that 14-year-old has 40 or 60 fentanyl pills in a Ziploc bag, and he's selling two, three, or four to another kid. At 14, where are you getting it from? Where are you getting it from? Because first of all, not only is it one of the deadliest drugs out there, but where are you getting it from? Who's your supplier? Oftentimes it comes from home, from a relative that have it and say, here, take it to school to your friends. There is a young man, he's 13, that's at Children's Hospital right now on a ventilator now for the past 4 months. Someone, he was brand new from Togo, came in school, standing by the bathroom. Another kid gave him something to hold. He held it, but the kid never came back. So instead of giving it to the security or something, he took it home. His mother found him foaming the next morning from an overdose in his bed. This is how serious addiction is. And when we talk about helping the community, if you do not have a passion for it, don't do it. If you're doing it for the limelight, don't do it. You need to do it because you want to save lives. You should not have a daughter, a sister, a brother, a relative going in the ground, or even a friend going in the ground for something that could be prevented. Addiction can be prevented, but does that person wants to be saved?
Yeah.
Or secured or that person have to want it. You and I can do everything. But if that person, that's the quote unquote addict, or actually the proper word is substance abuse. We got to watch our words. So if that
Mm-hmm.
substance abuse person don't want the help, there's nothing you can do. My daughter got kicked out of 27 different high-end rehabs that started at $40,000, $50,000 just to go in and get help. And she got kicked out of so many. So if they don't want it, there's nothing that you can do about it. You know, and
Right.
unfortunately, that's it. So we got to start from the younger ones. We got to start from the young. We cannot go to the colleges, focus on the college, because then you got the little people down here that there's a problem.
Yeah.
And they're looking at the ones up here that are using it. When you sit at the dining table and your mother or auntie or cousin or stranger is in your house and they're snorting coke and you are 6, 7 years old and they're telling you it's sugar, and then you go to try it.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with. And
yeah.
it's not restricted. Addiction has no bias, no demographics. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. Addiction has no bias. It affects every entity, every area. Some of us come from some of the best families, some of us come from the worst. But I've seen people come from the worst families and do well. And I've seen the ones that come from the best families that have money and they are strung out. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry to shock you.
So, yeah, no, I'm telling you, I can't believe that. Like, it's crazy how, they get this and they mimic these, people who, have shown them this way. Would you say to a young person who may have been exposed to these types of things and feel like, be a path that they might take in their...
So, and that's another great question. Actually, all your questions are great. I had a young man. He was, I believe he's about 12 now, but he was 10 at the time when we spoke. And it was a particular middle school in Montgomery County, right? Because we were closer to Montgomery and Prince George's. And I said to him, he actually stopped me to talk to me because he overheard me talking to somebody else. And he asked me, he says, Miss BJ, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. So I thought maybe he was going to ask for $1 or $2. So I'm reaching my pocket. He said, no, I just want to ask you. He says, my dad and my uncle use sugar all the time and they put it up their nose. But when I try the sugar, it tastes funny and I don't know what it is. I said, sweetie, that's not sugar. I said, that sounds like something your daddy and your uncle should not be doing. But most importantly, you should not be touching and doing anything else you see somebody else is doing. So I'm going to say, I went into a meeting, came out of the meeting, and he was waiting for me outside. And he showed me the paper. He said, I brought it to school because I was going to share it. And I took it from him and I look. And I called a resource officer. This is Coke.
Oh my God.
This is Coke. And and the officer said, he said, how do you know that without testing it? I said, my father was a detective. I'm from a law enforcement family. That was something I was schooled on from I was very young to know what Coke looked like, what hash looked like, what heroin looked like, the various different entities to stay away from. And, it's funny and it's sad because I guess I probably would have been married to a cardiovascular surgeon now. And He was doing coke while he was in med school. And we went to the movies, and I said,
Wow.
"What are you doing?" He said, "You got to try this." I said, "I'm not trying that." I said, "What is that?" I knew what it was. And he said, "If you don't try it, we can't date anymore." I said, "Bye."
Mm.
And got out the beautiful car and walked. And I walked almost 3 miles home at
Wow.
11 o'clock at night
Mm. Mm. Mm.
because I made that decision to save my life. But again, so after the resource officer looked at it, he said, we need to call CPS. This is where my difficulty come in, because if you see something, you're supposed to say something.
Yeah.
But sometimes to take him out of a comfort zone to put him in foster care is not the answer unless you don't have a
Yeah.
choice. So I asked him, I said, "Grandma, mom," so he lived with his dad. And that's what his dad did basically on a daily basis. CPS went in and took him. It
Mm.
broke my heart. But the good thing I found out later on was he went to one of his mother's friend, which was very, very good to him. I still keep in touch.
Yeah.
Periodically check it. But again, those are some of the moments.
Yeah.
When I come home, I go into my reading room and I just shut the door. And that's me and God having a conversation. Because I say, "You gave me this mission. Show me what you want me to do with it." I didn't just come up with this on my own. You put it on my heart based on what I was going through. So now that I'm here, show me what you want me to do with it, because I don't know if I can deal with this.
Yeah.
And then I have to question myself to say, "You just saw a child doing that. What else are you going to see?"
Mm.
And then after that, I teamed up with National Institute of Health in Baltimore, where we went into the streets to see our young Black men and women, brothers and sisters, OD'd strung out in the middle of the street. And
Mm.
they're using Narcan to save their lives. Narcan.
Mm.
And I'm like, "Lord, I'm not ready for this." And it's
Wow.
like the Spirit says, "No, you're built for this. I
Mm.
built you for this. This is what I need you to do." So basically, suck it up and keep on moving.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, yes, he is definitely giving you a strong will to keep going when you have to, deal with things like that, hear things like that, and see things like that. And that's hard, for somebody
It
to
is.
be taken from their family, but saving their life from addiction and also educating the community is priceless. So,
Yes.
yes. Um, so we wanted to talk about, some possible, sponsorships or event collaborations. What types of partners are you excited to work with right now with HHELP?
Okay, before you do that, can I add something to the last question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we had a situation, we have a lot of soldiers that go overseas and come back with PTSD. We have a lot of soldiers that come back and do try to kill themselves. I went to Fort Meade, and at Fort Meade, I put a flyer out, and I apologize, I didn't have a flyer. Actually, I'll send it to you, and if you want, you can post it. And on the flyer, there is a soldier with his bags, um, a drink in one hand and a handful of pills in the other.
Mm.
And he's looking, whether he's looking at a Koran or the Bible, not sure what he's looking at. But he's looking at something. That's a picture that together on a flyer for us. At the middle part, there's another him to save his life. And the third picture, it's
Mm.
a child holding a folded flag. So I had a soldier that came to me and he says, "If you had come 2 weeks ago, my buddy probably would still be alive."
Wow.
We have soldiers that we send overseas to kill people. And when a big
Yeah.
man look at you and say this, and I said, "Well, you're not telling your officers." He says, "I can't. I'll be labeled. I've done
Mm.
20 years or I've done 15 years. I'm going to be labeled and then dishonorable discharge. I can't do that."
Mm.
So when we see our soldiers, sometimes just say thank you. Just say thank you. Because between them, our high school students that are drinking and driving, or using drugs and driving, or walking, like I told one young man, he said, well, when I use, I don't drive. I said, but you walk, you become a liability to me as a driver. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you fall and I hit you, I'm still liable and I have to live with that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So the liability about addiction is not just in the bottle, it's not just behind the wheel, it's also walking, it's also interacting with people. How do we interact? How do we level up to help them? Sometimes
Right.
we have to listen. And
Yeah.
sometimes we can't do anything. Sometimes when we find out it's way beyond our control,
Mm.
but you can still try to provide resources as needed. So when a soldier look at you and says, if you were here 2 weeks ago, I'll talk to you, but I won't talk to brass. If you were here 2 weeks ago, maybe my buddy will still be alive because somebody on the outside is listening.
Wow.
And a lot of times they don't know that we are outside. A lot of times people look at the big organizations as the only organization, but it's not. It's the underground, like me, like a lot of us in Maryland, around the country that do this without getting acknowledged, not looking for acknowledgement, looking because when you go to bed or when you attempt to go to bed and you're seeing all these things in your mind, you're saying, the person I just spoke to, I hope they're okay. I pray they're okay. And the next day, when you hear from that person, you're like, I made a difference. I made
Yeah.
a difference. And that person say, can I call you in the middle of the night? Not a problem. Call me. Here's my number. How can I
Wow.
be of assistance to you? This is where the empowering and
Yes.
lifting people comes in.
Wow.
Yeah. I just wanted to add in there. I'm sorry.
No, that's beautiful. To get that acknowledgement, that recognition, and to know that what you're doing is working is definitely a way to keep that motivation to keep going. So I'm glad he was able to talk to you, but just for you to have your presence there is amazing. Um, what gaps do you still see that exist that you think prevent people from either seeking help or trying to find resources to change their outcomes, or is it, like he said, he can't go to brass because then it's going to ruin him, like things like that. Like, what other gaps are there like that people might not want to say but need to recognize so that they can make a difference in either their own lives or someone else's?
Great question again. So, fear, stigmatizing, labeling, whichever way you want to call it. Somebody see you going into a psychiatrist's office, and the first thing they say is that person is crazy. And you're worried
Mhm.
about being labeled because when people talk behind your back, sometimes a silent treatment, and you see the language, you see the body language, you see that, you hear the tone, you hear the whispers, the labeling. I don't want to be labeled, so I'd rather suffer in silence.
Mm.
I just did an event for, it's called the silent killer of Black men, prostate cancer. It's the labeling. I don't want nobody to know what I'm going through. So suffering in silence kills them, but at the same time, they feel that's the only outlet. So the stigmatizing, the labeling, the fear of other people see me going into the clinic. Maybe they think I'm getting a methadone shot or something, not realizing that maybe you just have questions. Maybe you just want to make sure that what you're going through is what it is. One of the biggest problem we have is the immigrant population. We have a lot of us, whether we're from the Caribbean, South America, wherever, the immigrant population is one of the most scariest population because they refuse to use help. They have this pride. No one should know what I'm going through. You know, a lot of us was raised with, if you have one slice of bread and it's six of us, everybody get a piece, but the neighbors shouldn't know. That's where the problem comes in. So when we have problems, even if there's a neighbor next door that could help, you don't want
Mm,
anybody to know. Kids are sworn to secrecy. Do not bring my business outside. When I'm
mm,
not home, I don't want anybody in my house, even though that person may mean well.
yeah.
Unfortunately, some of it can be true because you have some people that does nothing, not helping the families, more like harassing them to get them out of the neighborhood because of the color of their skin or because of their sexual orientation, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it becomes a fear of getting people involved. And when I tell you that I need help and you give me that resource, how many other people are you going to tell that you gave me that resource?
Right.
You know, so it's fair, stigmatizing, and labeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's been so hard. Like, I mean, even some of the conversations that I'm thinking about that I've had, you know, I, I don't really get the conversation unless I'm like online, like searching through something or something where I might stumble a conversation that might pertain to healthcare or something like that that a man should do, but that actual incorporating it into my life through my father or my family or my uncle, or what I mean, like I don't remember having that. So I don't know why, but I think that will definitely help. And if we could shake the fear and come out to speak about it and be like it's okay, to talk, to figure out things. I think that there will be a lot more people saved, and will be a lot more people directed to a good path in life as well. So,
You know what? And that's a great analogy of what you're saying because that is what we see. You know, Elizabeth Vargas, one of the biggest, media personality, and you can look her up, was a
mhm,
functional alcoholic. And she would carry her flask in her boots. She always wore boots.
mm,
So her flask would stay in her boots. And her husband spoke to her family. Nobody did anything. Again, top paying
mm,
journalist. And one day she came home and she got the shock. Husband and the kids were gone. The house was empty.
mm,
That's what shock therapy did for her. And again, she was a professional interviewing the top of the top. Okay,
wow,
the most elite, and you would never know, but she was like that. So
suffering.
you have a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say there's not trauma. There may be trauma that's attached, but in my daughter's case, there was no trauma that I could see. But then when I remembered about my son,
Mm,
I
yeah,
said, okay, okay.
yeah,
But yeah, some of the biggest professionals
wow.
are functioning alcoholic.
So
But
nobody's
yeah, I said to someone, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I said to someone before, if a bunch of you guys go out and you're on your second or third beer and your buddy, your best friend is on number 6 or 7, it's time for you to cut him off. If you
right.
leave, if you come together as a group, 4 of you show up, then 4 of you need to leave at the same time. So with me, call me overprotective. When my girls and I, when we roll, even if we drive separate, I need to know everybody made it home. I need to know, and I want to hear your voice. Don't text me. I want to
Yeah,
make sure that you're okay. If I don't hear your voice, I'm on my way to your house.
I know that's
I
right.
don't have a problem calling police officer to do a check. I don't have a problem doing that. You can
Absolutely.
hit me after, but it's okay.
Mm.
So we have to be our brothers and sisters keeper. And
Yeah.
when we start doing that, society will get a lot better. But until then, we're going to continue to have those gaps. And the gaps are getting wider. You know, when COVID came around, a lot of people saw what the gaps was because it not just turned to alcohol, it turns to suicide. If you were to
Hmm.
do the stats right now, the suicide rate during COVID was ridiculous.
Mm.
After COVID, a lot of people did not go back to work, so it continued on that increase,
Mm.
and then it tapered off. But now, especially with this federal shutdown, it's coming
Mm.
back. So again, we go back to depression, if you want to put a word to it, but it could also be insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think sometimes when you talk about stuff, it's because you're depressed. No, you're insecure or you're fearful.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean that you're depressed. You're human.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, I definitely want to have more of those conversations with, my friends and, my family members, but at first I know it might be, a little uncomfortable because it's like I'm trying to get to this conversation, but I think if, we keep having it, keep doing it, hey, bro, did you go get your checkup? How you feeling? Like being honest with me, like, what I'm saying, anything going on with you, like really having those, like you saying, being your brother's keeper, and when we get to that point, I think that it will be nice. I think it will be so nice to have that. So with all that, I just love the work that you're doing because
Thanksgiving is a perfect time to do that.
yes.
Thanksgiving is a perfect time to do that. When you're at that dining table and you're talking about the game and everything, have that few minutes, plug the TV out, plug it out of the wall, and say, we need to have a conversation. So I give you an example. So I have a lot of siblings, brothers, and one year prostate cancer came up. I said, all of you are over 40. And oh, I'm not doing that exam. I said, you can do a blood work. So the next Thanksgiving, not only did it come back up, but then we did a living will. If something happens, what's your decision? What would you like us to do if you're incapable of doing it? Because what a lot of people don't realize is in this
Mm.
country, if you are over 18, whether that's your son, your brother, your sister, your auntie, the government, the hospitals, the doctors don't have to deal with you. If
Mm.
you're a spouse, they can, yeah, if they want to, but they can do things. But when you are hands on and you said, I have a living will, this is what the person wants to do, they can't do anything. They have to abide by that, by law.
Wow.
But a lot of people believe that it's their son. And I found that out the hard way with my son because they're like, he's over 18. I said,
Mm.
and what does that mean? Well, you can't make decisions for him. I said, I beg your pardon? Well, only his child or his spouse. I said, I gave birth. And
Mm.
I had the rudest social worker. And I said, okay. She said, you're not guardian. I said, no, ain't no problem. So I went and got guardianship. I went and got guardianship, and I came back and says, okay, so you feel that everyone that come up in here that don't come up with money is either trailer trash, quote unquote, or a thug. I say every black person, every black young man or woman that come up in here is not a thug. And every female or male that's of another race is not trailer trash, as you call them. I said,
Mm.
so you need to put yourself in check. And then I said to the doctor, I said, your obligation when you took an oath is to care for people no matter what. I'm expecting you to hold to that oath. If not, I will file a complaint and have your license revoked. I went to
Absolutely.
medical school for X amount. I said, I understand that. I said, but I also went through 3 days of labor with him. So you're going to do what you
Absolutely.
have to do, and then we'll call it a day.
Yes.
Waited, did what I had to do. So have that
Absolutely.
conversation around Thanksgiving. When you have that family gathering, when you're doing
Yeah.
that cookout in the backyard, bring it up.
Yeah.
Then they can watch sports after that.
Absolutely. No, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm taking that advice. And me and my family lately have been getting together a lot more. We've restarted our family reunions and everything, you
Good.
know. But we just there having a good time right now. But we need to have these, you know, these conversations. So there's HHELP right there showing y'all right there the impact on what they do, what she does, what she's been doing, and why she does it. So again, thank you so much for sharing those stories with us. Um, we were, you know, looking to see how, you know, the community can really connect with you and how people might, you know, partner or what, you know, type of work that you might be interested in working with people on right now.
Awesome question. Okay. So, as you know, I'm in the community. I mean, we did a Caring for Caregivers. That was a great
Yes,
event. And
wonderful.
I had everybody introduce and figure out what's going on. We did the same thing for the Tea Party that you missed. And the Tea
Yes.
Party was a great, great event. We had some political powerhouses in. We got a
Wow.
proclamation from the Senate, US Senate, and a
Wow.
proclamation from the US Congress, right?
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
So, but one of the things that we lack is funding.
Mhm.
We we have applied for many, many grants and we don't get the funding. So this organization is sustained on either out of my pocket or when we do events like that and we
Yeah.
get donations, so on and so forth. So I have some people that continuously do a donation, whether it's $50, or I have one person send me something the other day and said, just because. And
Yeah.
I know she's struggling, right? And she
Yeah.
wrote just because. But it's
Shout out.
yes, yes, Donna. But it's one of those where we would love donations. I can be reached on HHELP.org. You can go to the website to see what it is that we do. We do a lot of fun stuff too, because you got to make it fun. You can't just be boring or all the bad stuff. You got to lighten it up a bit, dance a bit, shake a bit, do something,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So one of the things that we do is, so because we are not one of the quote unquote big organizations, been around 15, 20, maybe 30 years that get grants repeatedly, we have to depend on our loyal supporters. And I have the political bandwidth to get that. But to look to say, okay, we need maybe $50,000, $60,000 this year to do this project, that's not coming like that.
Mhm.
So, but I'm fine. I'm 5'1", probably 4'11", right? Even with so
Powerhouse.
powerhouse, thank you. But even with that, I still manage to do what I want to do with what little I have. So sponsors, we've had sponsors with Home Depot. Home Depot, I need to shout them out, just helped a family with a stove and a refrigerator.
Wow.
And they were using a what do you call it? A charcoal grill outside, rain,
Mm.
sunshine. So we
Wow.
found out, reached out to Home Depot, and the donation was done to them. They delivered it, hook it up for them. That was one. The
Wow.
second one is Target. Target teams up with us every holiday. So what I do is we adopt a family, 25 families every Christmas, every Thanksgiving. So when
Wow.
we're having those meals and we're throwing out food, there's somebody that didn't have any food today.
Mm.
So Target does that. They give us $250 from each store. Sometimes we get 500 from each store. It depends on what their money is. And we get those families and we provide. So not just Christmas gifts. Somebody may need a microwave. Somebody may need clothing. Somebody may need certain personal hygiene, male and female. So
Wow.
that money, that gift card is given to them, and they will go in the store and shop.
Wow.
Giant, Wegmans, Trader Joe, and Safeway contribute every holiday to meals for families. And for families that have cultural preferences, we give them gift cards. But if not, my girls and I, my ladies and I are out delivering turkeys early
Wow.
morning to Thanksgiving.
Woo.
Christmas is the same thing for Target and for Imprint will do their donations. But again, these are limited in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
but the volume is heavy
Yeah.
because I'm an island girl, so I can get $250 and stretch that and it help more than one family. Okay.
Yes. I
So
know. Right.
yeah,
Yes.
because I go like right now, Amazon is getting ready to do their thing, and I will go in there and I look and I say, okay, I can get this child. Look at they could use some underwear, some t-shirts, some this, some toothpaste. One kid tell me he likes Superman, so I'll get that Superman when it's on sale, put it in a corner, and then I have gift bags. So I'm Mrs. Claus,
Yeah. I know that's
you
right.
you know. So we
Yes.
do that.
Yeah.
And so again, any type of help is appreciated. We have men that come back reentry. So I do suits. I do collect suits, shirts, socks, ties. And we clean them if they don't come clean. I have one friend that give me the stuff on hangers. So we clean them and we give them. And what I do, I fit the men. You're not, I'm not giving it to you, not fit you. But here's where that John Hopkins hired those men, those reentry men that get some training and come in and they hire them, whether to be custodians, to be orderlies, to be receptionists. That's what I do in Baltimore.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
For the
Yes.
ladies, for the young ladies, I do the gowns for prom. All my ladies know to give me their gowns and dresses, and I fit these young ladies. I may have a limousine service that will
Wow.
say, I'll give you a car. Can you find a driver? I got a driver, got drivers.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's roll. Pick up that person. My best one was last year, early this year, actually. There's a young man. I don't know which school he chose, but it's either he had an option of Yale, Harvard. When I tell you about this young brother,
Mm.
his mom passed, his dad is in jail. He was staying with grandma.
Mm.
Mom passed from ODing. So staying with grandma. Grandma got put in a nursing home from a hip. He had
Mm.
nowhere to go. Grandma and him come up with a system where they got all the blankets during the day. She was able to stop them and he would sleep on the floor. And he would use a lighter, not a lighter, his phone
Mm.
to do his homework.
Wow.
He was going to school and was eating the leftovers off the plates.
Oh my
Somebody
goodness.
told somebody told the dean, and the dean talked to him. Come to find out, he's been doing that for months. And he would go to DC wherever there was free food, and he would get something to eat, and he would make it back to sleep there without the staff knowing and leave out before the next shift.
Yeah.
Grandma,
Wow.
grandma was a gangster. Okay,
Yeah.
she had it.
Grandma was a G. Yeah.
She a
She had that
so
routine.
when he came in, and I remember taking a check. My niece was graduating, and I took a check to give her. If there was at a Comcast center, If there was a dry eye in the building, I didn't see them. This young man not only came at the top of his class, we had colleges came in waiting. We will give you a free ride. You're the leader we need for tomorrow.
Wow.
So I remember tearing the check up, going to the bank, come back, and I say, "Where's his grandmother?" They say she's at a nursing home. I went to Manicare. My son have a handicap van. I went to Manicare, take my son's van, pick her up, and took her to the graduation.
I know
For
that's
her
right.
to see her grandson. Let me tell you, ooh,
I'm telling you. Wow.
So
those are the moments.
I don't have to have, yeah, it would be nice to have the money and the funding, but I don't have to have it to do what I do.
Well, I definitely want to give you your flowers right now. Definitely want to give you your flowers right now. Thank you for all that you do, all the people who participate with you, who give you support, who, show up for you and, help things move along. We really, really, really appreciate what you're doing. And I just wanted other people to hear about it. I want them to be able to get in contact with you, whether if they need resources or they want to help to provide resources to other people. So if y'all are listening out there and want to support HHELP's mission, visit HHELP.org. And you can also follow them on social media as well. So you've done a wonderful job. And I hope and pray that many, many more opportunities come for you to share your light with the rest of the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing. I've had the pleasure of connecting with you a few times. And it is so nice to know that we still have brothers out there that do what you do. And I thank you. Appreciate you.
Very much. Thank you so much. And all your next events, send them to me. I'm sharing them. I'm putting them where people can get in contact, come out, support, show love, and yes, be our brothers and sisters keepers.
Yes. Thank you again so much for this opportunity. And I mean, this is grand. We have some stuff going on in Jamaica right now.
Oh yeah.
And we're in the process working with one of our delegates to do a drop, pickup, and collection to roll. So we got a lot of prayers out there, but at the same time, without supporters like you, we don't get a lot. Oftentimes, we don't get the word out. I was in the Maryland papers, student news this week because they called me about Jamaica and the Baltimore Sun, but we don't get these opportunities. The bigger organizations do. And like I said, I have the political clout to get things, but it doesn't come my way. And I'm not going to say it's because of my skin, but it doesn't come my way.
Yes, absolutely. We're making a change. We're pushing for it. One thing I want to tell everybody is we have a gubernatorial coming up. That is the election that's held locally. Please register to vote. Please get out to vote. These are how we make those changes in our areas to make sure that we get fair shares of everything across the board for all people. So,
yes, and I'm an election judge.
Yes. Yes. So y'all know what to do. It's coming up next month. Make sure you're out there and we'll see you around. Follow my page, follow HHELP's page, and we're going to continue to make an impact in our community. Thank you so much, Ms. Dawkins. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Shannon. As always, I appreciate you too. And to all the listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.